Sup, dudes?
What's up, guys?
Oh, what's up, dude?
Today we're gonna be watching Dazed and Confused. Welcome
Dazed and
to
Confused.
Reel to Reel.
This is Reel to
I'm
Reel.
Tyler.
I'm Wilson.
This is Brasha.
We're here. We're gonna watch Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
And it's one of our favorite summertime films, and it's summer, so
a really good summertime film.
it's school's out for summer, and we're ready to watch Dazed and Confused.
And everything's alright.
What are some of your memories from this movie? Like, when did you guys get introduced to it?
Well, it was one that with especially with the smiley face on the front. I always just saw the cover.
Yeah, I was always aware of it.
It's the highly face.
Aware of
it's a danked out face.
Yeah, but when you're not aware of what drugs are really, and you're just a kid, you just see a smiley face.
True.
So I was always aware of it, but then I think I told you this story maybe. There was one year for 4th of July, I went to a friend's lake. It was on Pelican. We went out on the boat at night and saw the big fireworks show on the 4th in the middle of the lake. Came back, and it was nighttime, so we couldn't really do anything more. And we're just well, let's watch a movie and then let's go to bed. And they only had 2 VHSs. And I think one was... I think it was just an exercise video. The other one was Dazed and Confused.
It was like Tybo.
You didn't pick the exercise video, dude?
Well,
After seeing the fireworks, it'll get you pumped.
Yeah,
Do
I'd
some
never
fucking Billy
seen
Blanks.
Dazed and Confused, and I think my friend had, but he just was very blasé. He's whatever. So I just put it in because he was asleep before it even started, and so I was just whatever. I'll just watch part of this movie and then probably fall asleep too. And I stayed up and watched the whole thing because it was so good.
Yeah.
And it's a very summertime feel movie, like you said. And I watched it first during the peak of the summertime and middle of a real good weekend and stuff, and so it definitely has strong summertime connotations for
especially if it's 4th of July. They had fireworks in the movie too. There's it had that sense of, or it had that atmosphere of summertime stories following different groups of people. I like that about Linklater. In his movie prior to this that he tried to do that with was Slacker, where the camera follows one character, and if the camera passes another character, it chooses to either continue that guy or continue with the other person that walks in front. And that's kind of how he structured this, was he has these tight-knit groups of people that he would follow around.
Yeah.
But the fun thing about this is that it shows our main character is Mitch Kramer.
Yep.
I would say the kid that's going into high school, and he's going to be hazed. That's the big conflict, is
him.
This hazing that
I'd
happens.
say there's 2 main characters.
Him and Pink.
Him in London,
London.
Just which London is it?
Jason.
Jason
Is it?
London?
Yeah, and the other one's Jack.
No, Jeremy.
This is Jason. Yeah, this is
Jason and Jeremy.
he was in Mallrats too.
The Jays.
And the other one was in some stuff
I'd say
from
they're
Seventh Heaven.
because you get a
right.
look into 2 parts of this generation.
Yeah, you see
somebody who's not too far removed from the older person.
Randall Pink Floyd. That's what they call him. Randall Floyd. They call him Pink. And
'Cause
he's the whole thing about him is that he's a star quarterback for the high school, and his conflict is with his coach, saying that he has to abstain from sex and drugs and make this pledge to his teammates, I'm not gonna do this, and he's I'm not gonna sign this bullshit and blah blah blah, and his teammates are man, you've changed.
Yeah, he's
and
not.
He finds his true friends throughout.
It's
episode.
It's him bucking the traditional, star quarterback motif of this jock, cool guy, whatever, and he's the cool stoner guy that's just
and he has a conflict with girlfriends. He has the preppy girl that's interested in him, but also the stoner kind of girl that's kind of mid-range between smart but kind of
he's shifting from
flower
one thing
power
to another thing.
Yeah. And
Well,
it's at the turn of the century too, almost, or it's at the turn of the
Bicentennial.
80s. Yeah, it's almost
It's the 70s in this.
It's right. I think they talk about it right at the beginning when the school's being let out. It's it is the bicentennial. It's happening.
So 76.
Bicentennial year, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hey, it's kind of like a Lindsay Wheeler from Freaks and Geeks, a little bit.
Yeah,
because she kind of again bucks like
Yeah,
her typical
previous
persona that she's perceived as by everybody else, and kind of just like finds her own spot between
similar
with
premises.
the stoners, but then like moves away from that and finds her
Yeah.
own kind of little niche. And
The only person that really doesn't change but like grows from experience is probably Mitch Kramer.
Yeah.
He stays
oh,
he stays true. He's like he's a popular guy. He gets now thrown in with these like other popular groups of kids in high school, but he doesn't like go with them, but he like participates in their antics. Like they
Yes.
get him to like throw a bowling ball out a window of a car.
He's
Like
smart,
he just does
I would
stuff.
say, because yeah, he
Kind of trying to have
like,
a good time.
Yeah, like he's just trying to have a good time. He's being himself.
Yeah.
But he's smart about it, where he does like if somebody like gives him an opportunity, he thinks about saying yes before he says it. Because sometimes, yeah, it might be something really stupid that they're trying to like still
Yeah.
haze him a little bit,
Mhm.
or that it will get him into more trouble than he wants to be in. And that's like, I think that speaks a little bit to like he's not used to this lifestyle yet. He's not ready to be fast and loose. And it's funny in the car when he's like, "Hey man, you got a joint on you?"
Yeah.
It'd be a lot
Be like
cooler
cool if you did.
Yeah, and, like,
Cooler if
that's
you
that
did.
just kind of shows that like he can hang with these people.
Yeah,
They-
like Slater goes up to him,
Yeah.
he's like, "You cool, man?" And
yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
"Cool like how?" And he's like, Slater looks at him, gives him like a shifty eye, and he goes, "Okay."
But besides Ben Affleck,
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't really think there's anybody else who like takes issue with this younger kid hanging with the older crowd, really, like to a major degree.
no, after he gets hazed, it's pretty chill with all the
Because he's hanging
higher
out
ups.
in like the pool hall where it's
Mhm.
all the older kids, and he's the younger one there. And I've been in those situations, either being the younger kid or just being like part of the older crowd, and then
Yeah.
there's like one or two younger
Yeah.
people around, and they're not so far removed that it's like weird, but there's still enough of a difference that they don't fit in with your friends group and all this
Right.
stuff. But everybody just kind of like, "Oh, who's that kid? Oh, okay, cool," and just like goes about their business,
Yep.
and he can fit in.
And he
fine.
buys them booze.
Yeah, if somebody walked away from that experience that he has and didn't learn something from it, they've got to be pretty thick, because that's
he's
like
he grows throughout it. Like he's a
Yeah,
kid.
entire
and he,
like,
just-
summer in one
It's
night.
like with this and like we were saying, Freaks and Geeks and stuff. You know, they're going through like changes in personalities, coming of age stories.
For sure.
Yeah,
It's
and the
that.
arc of Lindsay Weir in Freaks and
Yeah.
Geeks was like she wants to try to find herself by joining a different crowd,
Yeah.
but then like at the end of the series, like I think it's like only 12 episodes or something,
There's two.
Yeah, there's two
Two
seasons.
seasons.
but in total there's like 12 episodes, isn't there?
I don't know.
I don't
There's like
remember.
I think
I
it's
have the
24.
box set and it's not a lot.
Yeah, there's
But
not
like
a lot.
in that
sure.
in that span, she like finds out like I don't really like these people. They kind of are fake in their own way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she goes back to who she really is as like the smart person that just
Yeah.
like, well, you're led to believe that she does, but then she goes off with Busy Phillips's character, whatever
Yeah.
her name is, and they go
Well,
off
it's
to
like she kind of realizes that both are superficial.
yeah.
and
She was
are,
hanging out with like
you
the
know,
punk kids,
she
but then
thought it
she
was
decides
cooler.
like, oh, I'm gonna be a deadhead now.
Yeah.
But she finds like her
So
own
these are people being real. and
spot
it's like,
between those two
Yep.
extremes, kind of.
Yep.
She's seen both ends of the spectrum,
Yep.
and now that she knows what each end of that is like, she can kind of like just be like, well, I don't need to go that far with it or that far with it. I just know like
Yeah.
how far I do want to go and be my own
So
person.
Lindsay Weir
Common coming of age situation.
slash Linda Cardellini is like the actor that plays Mitch Kramer. His name is Wiley Wiggins.
Yep.
Sounds really like a superhero style
He
name.
was
Yeah,
in-
it does.
Oh god, there was something else he was into.
Yeah,
This Waking Life.
from something.
He's been in a lot of Linklater films.
This was made in '93. It said
Yeah.
he kind of looks. I haven't seen this for a really long time, so I don't remember who's in
You'll
it.
notice he does this a lot, and what I'm
JTT.
doing is grabbing the bridge of my nose, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Dang
yeah.
it!" Like, he,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
like when he's
That's-
embarrassed. It's, oh,
When he
like,
gets turned
I
away for
hate
trying to
that
buy the
guy.
booze, and he goes outside, and he's like, "Yeah, all right, yeah."
or he's like, "Do you guys want to get him back?" Like, he like grabs his nose, and he's like, "Psh, psh."
This was made in '93, and I haven't seen the other thing that I might be recognizing him from. I haven't seen in a long time. Remember Tom and Huck? I think was JTT in that?
That was JTT, and
Probably wasn't him in that movie, but
no,
yeah. I guess this is like the only thing I've really seen.
interesting. Because I thought I recognized him from something too. Guy in the top right who wears the overalls.
Yep.
What
Yep.
else has he been in?
nothing really. He's
Your
like,
butt.
Him and Jason,
hello there, friend.
Jason Landon or whoever.
Jason
Give me
London.
cum treasure surprise.
Give me cum treasure surprise.
Huh.
Oh, Brad Renfro.
Brad Renfro.
Brad Renfro was on Tom and Huck with JTT. But I think without further ado, we should jump into this film because I'm aching for some
Bacon.
Oh.
stoking.
Stuck in the...
Stoking
Stoking on the water.
Just keep on burning.
Settle down.
And if anybody hasn't seen this film, you might just like
Oh,
it for the
fuck yourself.
soundtrack because
Yeah.
the soundtrack
Oh,
is
God, yeah, it's
amazing.
great.
A perfect picture snapshot of that time and place.
I think I would have been pretty happy being around that age, like high school age in the 70s. Real, simple, everything's nice and...
Drinking age is 18.
Not
in
even
Texas.
anything about that. It's just like simpler world, simpler times. Be young at that time where new development and technology of cameras and TVs and all kinds of like cool cars and great music coming out. And
Yeah, excellent music coming up.
so I think that would have been fun.
Let's jump into it, boys.
It's good days. They go good.
And now, our feature presentation.
So that was Dazed and Confused.
Dazed and confused.
Just a good, pleasant summertime film.
It was.
I think just having the soundtrack kind of like set the mood too.
Yep. It's perfect.
I mean, yeah, what's great about this is that it was kind of structured around that era's music.
Yep.
And it all made sense when it kicked into Sweet Emotion and then School's Out.
Had every kind of, not in a bad way, but like every type of stereotypical person of the 70s.
Yep. It had like the nerds, it had the jocks,
Yeah.
they had the stoners, they had
You had the in-betweener dudes that floated.
The flower childs,
Yep.
The
hippie kids.
children, I guess.
The kids that thought they were so
But, like,
smart.
Pickford, the guy that
Yep.
was gonna have the party,
Yep.
he seemed like he was
Just there.
Oh,
yeah.
like he was rich. Like his
Yep.
family seemed really well off.
Like a lot of those dudes in the 70s.
Yeah, and then like he just decides to like just I have the
Fuck
means.
it,
I'm just
dude.
gonna buy some weeds.
I was gonna be
Buy
slaying
some
that
kegs of beer.
slaying that weeds, dude.
Call it good.
He he was the one that one of the ones that had like next to no
No
like
arc.
character development.
Yeah, it's
He was
like
just
oh my
there.
party's off. Dang.
Yep, and I'll just be here now.
I'd
Yep.
say more people in this movie don't have arcs than do.
That's true. Him, fucking Melvin,
Benny.
Benny.
O'Banion.
I mean,
O'Banion has a really
They all have
Interesting
like,
arc.
at least like with Benny and like O'Banion, like there's a purpose. Like they have certain purposes.
they're kind of serving to Pink's or
Yeah.
Randy's plight throughout the movie. Like
Mhm.
they're trying to get him back into their group, but
Yeah.
he's like, I'm not really interested in you guys anymore.
and fucking what's his fuck floats in the middle, kind of too. The other football guy, Sasha,
Yeah, he's the
Sasha
football guy,
Dawn.
but he's
Don. Yeah,
Yeah, he really does bounce back and forth between like
Yeah.
so many different groups.
yeah, he's got like. Well, what's interesting is that Randy is actually friends with Adam Goldberg and Mercer BC and Tony
Mhm.
yeah,
and Tony, I guess his name is in this
Mhm.
movie.
yeah,
He's friends with them. Like they have a poker night.
yeah.
You find out at the beginning, and then you meet up with him with Slater and Pickford, and they're talking about the party, and then he like, I think Floyd just gets into everybody's
Yeah.
circle at one point.
It's one of those dudes. I know
He's
that
friends
goes.
with like
Yeah.
everybody he interacts with. He's
That
not
must
like
be how
arrogant at all.
how Tony and the rest of that crew find out about Pickford's party in the first place is through Pink.
Yeah.
Probably.
Probably just
Yeah, yeah.
mentions it or they're around while
Yeah,
somebody
they're
else
like, are you
mentions it.
you gonna come to poker tonight or whatever
Oh,
they're
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
do?
it's
And he's like,
normal.
no, there's gonna be a party over at Pickford's.
But yeah, Pickford's
Party at
only
Pickford.
the only purpose of Pickford was to get caught.
The
So they had
facilitator
to
of
have-
said party.
Yeah, so they had to have that party that takes up
Mm-hmm.
The Moon Tower.
The Moon
at the
Tower.
main tower.
There's another
Party at the
fiesta as we
Moon
speak.
There's
Out
a
at the
new
Moon
fest
Tower.
brewing as we speak.
You cool man.
Who'd you guys like as an arc? As like did you like the Mitch Kramers or did you like the
I like Pink's
Randy's?
better.
I like Pink's too.
Yeah.
I like Melvin's just for the end. Just for the end of his.
It was wigged out.
First, you have him doing the crazy dance in the back seat of the
Yep,
truck.
the little shuffle.
And then you have
Little
him,
soft shoe.
Yeah, and then you have him at the end of the party just hamming it up, just like,
Oh, I'm drunk, guys.
Yeah, look how drunk I am.
No, I don't know. I kind of like Sabrina's a little bit, to be honest with you.
Sabrina's is good.
Sabrina's, yeah, she was
'Cause she
another
starts off as,
focal
like,
character.
Wallflower, or like the person who's like dejected or not
Yeah.
chosen to
Yep.
be one of the popular girls, kind of.
Yep.
And then she
kinda-
still gets like
She blossoms.
brought into the flock, yeah, and blossoms, and has a very similar kind of journey to Mitch in a way, where she hangs,
Yeah.
like she sees him at the.
She's Lady Mitch.
What did they call the pool hall? What
Emporium.
The Emporium.
The Emporium. She's at the Emporium, like he
Yep.
sees her there, and then she's at the party, and
Mm-hmm.
she like stands up to Dana, I think her name was.
Yeah, the air raid.
Yeah.
Raid
Parker Posey.
Yeah.
Parker right in the posy.
Yep. Parker right in the post. Parker, I hardly know her.
But yeah, I guess that's another focal character was Sabrina.
Yeah.
There's no other girl focal
Um,
character.
Jody to some degree, maybe like
Yeah.
a little bit.
She was kind of serving Mitch's kind of story.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
a little bit of Randy's story.
What was the redheaded chick's name? I forget. But she had her own arc.
Fucking Rabisi.
She was on a journey.
Mm-hmm.
She was on a journey.
A sexual awakening.
But for me, it was just like Mitch is a story I've seen before or many times, like that type of story. Where Pink's is a little bit different.
Pink's was the like he had a more full arc. Like
Yeah.
we said before, Mitch Kramer has like he's just along for the ride.
Yeah.
Like he literally gets in the back of like cars and just like goes along for the
Goes
ride.
with
And
the
they're
flow.
like, do this, and he's like, okay, and
Yeah.
he does it. It's like, go get me beer, okay, and he just
He's
does
just-
stuff.
Yeah.
He doesn't take
just
any
opening
agency.
himself up to the.
The only time he takes agency is when he decides to get back at O'Banion. And
Yeah.
that's like the big full circle, like, all right,
Yeah.
they did it. They
Yeah.
figured out how to
Well-
get back at this guy that's been kind of pissing them off throughout the whole movie.
Mitch starts at a place, and then
Excuse me.
from where he goes on his journey in this movie kind of ends at a place where he's ready to be Randy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's
Where
a
Randy
pro
is-
baseball player.
Randy is a socialite. He's got connections with all kinds of cliques.
Mhm.
He's a sports, like he's an athlete, because Randy's the quarterback, and he's also somebody that likes to take the edge off and have a drink or smoke something or
Yeah.
whatever.
And
The
Mitch was
quarterback
baseball-
and
the
pitcher, he's a
Mitch
pitcher.
plays
The
baseball.
quarterback of baseball.
He's already obviously like kind of a hot shot when he's a freshman, like
Yeah.
when that school year's ending. And then throughout that, he becomes more like adept at interacting with these other social groups that he's not, and like women are getting onto him. Like he's
Well, it's like-
performing.
People are
It's like-
taking notice.
with top
Yeah,
Well, it's like
grades.
They take
it's like
notice.
Pink is setting up his replacement, right?
and
Yeah.
It's like,
Mitch is also probably you can see him going on the path of following in Mitch's footsteps a little bit, or
yeah.
in Mitch following in Randy's footsteps, to the point where later on, Mitch might have his own moment of like, well, do I want to keep playing
Right.
baseball or do I want to prioritize other stuff in my
Right.
life?
Mhm.
Just like Randy does.
It's the cycle that like we noticed earlier when we were talking about how fucking Slater's is just like, yeah, man, just wait. Like these girls in high school, man, they're just prudes. You know, just wait till we get to college. It'll be like all cooler, whatever, and there'll be just all the time. And then you see the junior high kids like,
They're at their high
leaving
school
leaving the junior
party.
high dance, and it's just like, oh, forget about these girls. We got the
Mhm.
high school
to
girls
look
coming.
forward
It's
to.
that kind of the following suit.
Yeah, it's
the
like-
repetition, the cycle.
pining for like the next generation. It's like you're not satisfied. It's
Yeah.
like you keep looking forward.
Yep.
well,
Without taking in the times you're in.
that's kind of something that is like
That's like it kind of sums it up. I'm sorry to cut you off, but he's at the very end, like how Pink surmises the whole situation is like, if these are the moments that are like the best days of my life, remind me to kill myself, because
Yeah.
he doesn't see it as that. It's like there's no freedom here. I
Yep.
can't do whatever I want. I'm being told by the coaches that I have to like negate a lot of like
Not only
social
do I got my
stuff.
parents
I'm doing.
telling me what to do, I got my coaches. I got,
Yeah.
you know, all these people who like that old couple or whatever. They have these expectations. They want me.
Yeah.
And, you know,
It's
I
got
can't be free. I
responsibility.
have responsibility to all these people, and I don't want it. I
That's
don't want it.
that's definitely something that's like echoed throughout the movie. Is there's multiple times that different characters bring up the idea of like, man, us living in the moment right now is pretty shitty, but these could be things that you could look back on and think like, oh man, I really should have been like in the
Yeah.
moment and taken advantage of that. Because now I'm looking back and I was either looking ahead or I was looking behind.
Yep.
And then there's other characters in the movie who are at different times looking ahead or looking behind. Like Wooderson can't
Wooderson
help but look
lives
back.
in the past.
He
yeah.
lives in the past.
He lives in the past.
Other people are living in the future. Other people.
And then like the intellectuals are looking.
They're, like-
can't stop looking forward.
Yep,
They
they're
all-
thinking
but
about
they're
like
also-
the 70s obviously sucked. What about the 80s? They're
Yeah.
gonna be rad.
They're at one point they also
Sorry,
when they're
it
in the
wasn't.
car they like bring up like she I think it's like after she gets hit on or something, she's like, oh, you know, I should be focusing on the here and now and not expecting it as the preamble to something greater.
Right.
And
Exactly.
that
He had a lot of
like,
insightful things to say.
it's the greater theme of the movie. It's
And-
the live in the now.
Yeah, and Don at the end, he's like, I did the best I could while I was here.
Yeah.
I did all these things while I was here. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that's like the theme of the movie, or
Yeah.
That whole like 50-yard line.
Appreciate the
joint
moment you're
subcommittee.
in
yeah,
right
what you've
now,
got there in front of you.
because this is like the most like intellectually like developed, yet with the most like it's when you're quote unquote most invincible, right?
Mhm.
Like you have the most stuff going for you at that point.
Yeah.
Like going after this, you're gonna be like starting on your own, and then the real world, you're gonna see what life is, and you're gonna wish it was like when you were a kid, when you could do whatever the fuck you wanted.
Mhm.
So it's like don't look too far back, don't look too far forward, just
Live in the now.
live in the now, man.
Which is good advice for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of good philosophies in this.
Should have
I've-
counted how many times Slater said "man."
Man.
Man. That'd be
Check out
once
the
a
back
line.
of the
at
dollar
least.
bill, man. There's some spooky stuff on the dollar bill,
Yeah.
man.
One time specifically that I was not living in the moment was when I saw The Last Jedi. I was thinking too much about what might happen or what like big reveals there might be, or I was too reactive to it. I wasn't in the moment actually like appreciating what was in front of me.
You were thinking about what happened in the past.
Well,
and
no,
where they could be fucking going.
yeah, I
with
was
this
more
shit.
I was
Wasn't what's
more
going on right
worried
now.
about like how big the thing happening was in front of me versus what was actually happening. So when I left that movie, I was thinking, man, I didn't really see that movie. I had my
Yeah,
I
didn't
just had my
absorb
own
anything.
experience in my mind.
Yeah, I didn't absorb anything that was put in front of my face.
So staying in the moment is definitely really good advice.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I don't think
Oh,
it's a message that a lot of movies maybe try and get across.
No, and it's such a simple film. Like you can watch it just for the entertainment value of seeing this slice of life, this snapshot of this time and place. Just like watch this summer. It takes place during a day, so it's like just at the end of school to the night.
Summaries.
There's
Wait,
no
are you-
like the next day or anything like that. It's just
Makes
one
me
long evening.
It's a
Stuff happens.
snapshot. We get to live in the moment.
Mhm.
Up back
Blowing
then,
through
Yeah.
that one moment of
jasmine
the
in my
bicentennial.
A lot of stuff happens at the last day of school, and you get to see all these characters interact with each other. They all have different opinions and different philosophies on life. The nerds, I think, have like the most to say about stuff. Like Adam Goldberg's like, you know what? I'm gonna do something. Like I don't want this. I don't want to be
Yeah.
stagnant in life. I just want to experience things.
Yep.
And he does that by like getting his ass kicked. And he's like,
Yeah.
well, that was an experience. Awesome.
Fucking what was the thing that he called him? Stupid monkey motherfucker.
Oh, dominant male monkey motherfucker.
Dominant male monkey motherfucker.
Yeah, he was really pissed
So
because it was like bubbling up. Like you feel that
yeah.
sensation sometimes when you get into an altercation with somebody.
Right.
Well, at least I've had in situations like
Yeah,
somebody
I've had-
like kind of makes you feel lesser, and you're like, well, now I feel embarrassed and less than. Like now I'm just
and
bubbling up this
it
rage.
stays with you the rest of the day.
Well,
It's like-
he was bubbling up even like just through that whole movie where it was just like he started and it was frustrated, just like we gotta fucking do something.
He
And
was
that point when he
unquieted.
just made an off comment
Yeah.
thing saying like, I smell some reefer.
Yep. And then that momentarily shut it down for him.
Yep.
And he was just like, nah, dude, that can't be it, dude. No, I'm tired of this.
I'm gonna look back on this and be like,
Yep.
what shoulda, woulda, coulda, like all this other thing.
And then he was kind of right, where it was just like, in the future, it's not, they're not going to remember who won or whatever. It's just that, I was in the fight. Or
I
whatever.
fought.
I fought.
He was like, that's what broke up the Moon Tower.
Yeah.
The Moon Tower party.
The really good depictions. I definitely wouldn't say like good depictions of real people and real teens and like that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's good writing for those characters, but it's not like authentic depictions. But there were some really authentic depictions of like how people of around the same age who have known each other like in a school setting, who are then like partying together.
Yeah,
it's like two different sides of how you know somebody. Kind of, you know them as the school persona, and then you know them as the like person that you see outside of school.
Yeah,
and like when Dana at the end is like air raid freshman. She calls him Tony, and you can just from that.
I think her name is Darla.
Darla,
but she calls.
I got the
Tony,
DAA.
Yeah.
But from her calling him Tony, obviously these two are very far apart socially.
Yep.
But
They've
she knows
been going to school for so long,
and so that leads like you can read enough into that to know some sort of relationship there of how they know each other, and it is like I don't know.
There are though. What I like about this too is so many of those people in this like are conglomerations of totally people I've met in my life.
Yeah, like who?
In high school and then
Just
freshly out.
Don't like give like specific examples, but what characters in this movie remind you of somebody in high school?
Well, Slater.
O'Banion.
Fucking Donnie. Like if there was a lot of those people.
Yeah.
I mean, even Pink to a degree.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them. A lot of those people.
Melvin. I've known some Melvins in my time.
Some Melvins, yeah. A lot of those dudes, man.
Not like that, thank God.
Fucking.
Never had to witness a stroke.
Fucking.
Toast.
Pickfords.
Pickfords?
People Pickford-esque.
Yeah.
Fucking. Oh God, what's his name?
I knew him Mitch once or twice.
Cole Hauser was his
yeah.
character.
Benny,
yeah. Knew some Bennies. Red Afro. Cole Hauser. The one that got him the one that got him in the truck and was just like, come on, man.
You can be throwing away starting quarterback.
Yeah,
nobody quit senior year, man.
Yeah.
Kyle.
This isn't just about you, man. You can be fucking us, man. That guy. Guys like
we could
that.
take state.
Take the football
That's
way too seriously.
Somebody
and shit.
who is like, kind of living in the moment in the wrong way, where he's like, this is what it's about. This is my life right now.
Yeah.
And this is
The
what's
wrong
going to
type of
define
living in the
everything else. What I do after this doesn't matter. And what I've done before this doesn't matter. It's just fucking high school football, baby.
Yep. It's the here and now.
Yeah, he made a remark to Coach Conrad saying like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about taking the year off to be a writer. What do you think about that?"
What do you think about that, Coach? You can't see I'm shadow boxing.
So like they're friends with like the coaches too. Like the coach or the assistant coach was like, "I know you guys are just gonna be sitting around the pool all day,
chasing the muff around."
Yep.
But that's like high school coaches though.
Yeah, I know. They try to be on the kids' level,
Yeah,
and like
some
they're
of them.
pining. They're kind of maybe
head coaches
projecting,
no, but like assistant coaches and shit. Yeah.
They're pining for those days, and they're
They're obviously they're literally living that over and over.
They
and
get
over
to
again.
live that day over and over and over again, but not
like
be
by
participant in
by
it.
proxy through
They
those.
just get to
Exactly.
observe
Yeah.
it. And they're like, oh, dude, I remember that. And they're like, hey, dude.
I can only imagine how it must have been for some faculty members working in schools to like be people who are like sports coaches when their defining thing for them in high school was their sports that they're
Which
now
is why
coaching
they're a coach.
at the same school, and they're just like, good God, I keep trying to get out, but they pull me back in. You know, like,
Summer breeze.
or maybe that's what they want. Maybe that's what's comfortable for them, and that's all they know, and they just want to live in that life. That's fine, but
It's what they know. It's what they love.
I mean, damn, I'm sure that happens a
Damn.
lot. Well, think about it, man. How many small towns there are that are big enough to have their own sports team?
Yep.
And then they just play like regionally or whatever.
Yep.
and then somebody goes through that school system back in the 70s, 60s,
Yep.
70s, 80s, grows up, and then becomes the coach of the sport they played in
Yep.
at the same fucking school,
Yep.
and they work that job until they retire.
Yep.
Hey, getting
I'm
summers
sure
off.
that happens a lot.
That's really nice. I'd like that job.
Doesn't sound bad. I have no, affinity for the physical activity, but doesn't sound.
I was
Terrible.
like almost drafted by a few like people that wanted me to play high school sports.
Yeah.
Like the coach, I forgot his Hendrickson or Henderson. One of those two coaches approached me and they're like, "Hey man, I'd really like you to play basketball." Like,
Yeah.
Like they just my stature,
Yep.
and I did participate in team sports in high school.
Yep.
Because it was a mandatory thing that
Yep.
I had, like a
Yep.
credit that I had to get. And like, I love basketball.
Yep.
I don't like the team aspect of it.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what I told him, like straight up, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I can appreciate that and whatever."
I like basketball. I don't like the running aspect of it.
No, like if you
I
just
don't
like
like
give me the
the
ball and like I'll stand
dribbling
at one side of the
aspect of it.
court, just pass it to me, I'll shoot it.
That was
That's
like
fine.
it's like football.
I don't like the
I
shooting
love
aspect of
football. I did not love practicing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of running for running's sake,
Yeah.
and that has always been stupid to me. So I get why you have to do it. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not like you shouldn't do that. No, like I get why you have to do
it makes
that.
sense because
I get it.
Football's like
Conditioning.
that training
yeah.
is exactly. It's conditioning. It's like boot camp.
Yeah, it
They're
is.
supposed to work you as
Especially
hard as
summer
they
camp.
fucking can to like
Yep.
get that like muscle memory and the adeptness of doing those motions and everything.
Got to like 8th or 9th grade, and I was just like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna do plays now." I was complete opposite.
You picked your
I had-
retirement.
And I had friends that were like
Benny.
Benny and stuff. That were just like, "What the fuck, man? Like, come on, you're our only center. Like, we don't have anybody else. Like, blah blah blah."
They're
Giving me
different-
shit for it.
Yeah.
And getting mad at me, people that were my friends, and I was just like, I don't want to do it anymore, dude. I want to have fun.
Both sides of
anymore.
the coin, I guess. Though, like there will be other centers, and there will also be other people who will play butlers in the importance of being earnest.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
Good callback.
I understand your point of view, but I'm
Yep.
gonna go do this play because it's what I choose to do.
Well, I was like, I was done with it, dude. I was done. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm not having fun anymore.
It's like what I did.
I'm gonna go do something I'm gonna have fun.
That's
in.
kind of like what my wife talks about when she was in team sports with her friends. A lot of people just take it too seriously.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I'm not going to say his first name, but T Glass.
Sure.
He was like big into those sports, and they were doing
Yeah.
dodgeball, I think. And my wife and her friend were in the same class as him and his group of friends that were playing dodgeball. And there were the balls that you can kind of like push all the air out. And turn
Yeah,
into
the
a
ones that you
pancake.
just fucking whip at people.
And you can turn into a pancake, and that's
Yep.
what they did.
Yeah.
They didn't care about like getting hit by the dodgeballs or anything. All they did was flatten all the balls and chuck them like frisbees, and they just like flop around, and nobody could catch them. So like
Yeah.
when they would hurl these at T-Glass, he gets so pissed, and like it just made their day because they could tell he was taking it too seriously. And that's kind of like what, like you were saying, they're conditioning these kids to take these things seriously, but it's not what you should be focusing school on.
No.
I thought at school was like, I see it as like some learning experience for like
Yeah.
some of the things you'll learn in the future or
Yeah.
you'll have to deal with in the future.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's just kind of like a social test for you
Yeah.
as like how to interact with different types of
You're
people.
there
I like
to
gym
learn.
class because I'm gonna go play a sport for a little bit and have fun and then go back.
Be active.
I didn't have to
Yeah.
be like it wasn't a real competitive, and I did have fun too with people who were like way too competitive, like dodgeball. I had a dude, oh god, I forget his name, but he was like super duper like it was a dodgeball thing again, super competitive, it's just a grip and rip on those balls and
Yeah.
just destroying people.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was like me and like two other people, and like he was just whipping them and like got one of them and we were hitting stuff, and then it got down to just me, and he whipped it and I hit it. I popped it up with the ball I had and caught it and got him out, and he was just so pissed. Like that was just like I was fueling off of it, dude. I just every one he whipped and missed or it dodged and fucking hit. I was just like,
I see you.
I may not look athletic, but I am.
I'm smart.
Jake
Yeah.
Sully.
Yeah,
Good times.
Yeah, it's fun
Yeah.
when you can kind of dish it back.
And that's why this movie does that type of stuff where we just went into 10 minutes, whatever, of just us talking about school.
Yeah, because you can see there's
5
some
minutes.
echoes of this. Like,
Yeah.
it's a vicious cycle. Like,
Stuff we all relate
stuff
to.
you see in the 70s kind of translates to nowadays,
Yeah.
and even like when we were
Kids are the same.
Yeah, kids never change.
No, it's just
They're-
the circumstances.
they're
until
growing.
like 10 years from now, when they're already like that. But
But they're still like
Even more.
funneling that behavior through.
Yeah,
The interwebs.
that's like another filter. Like, that's
Yeah.
just how they express themselves now
Yeah.
more.
There's still the bullying. There's still the competitiveness. There's still the expression. There's still the fucking tryhards.
There's
man,
still the
Yeah.
coaches that are gonna be like, you
Yeah.
do your best, you do your best.
you want to talk about competitiveness and tryhards? That corporate cup last week was
Oh yeah, I didn't go to that.
insane.
What other like businesses were there? Did you notice any?
Bobcat, John Deere, Microsoft, like you name it, and they have a presence around here that you've probably heard the name of. They're there.
Hmm.
There was a lot of business there.
Harley
You
Davidson.
heard me say something about it. I
It's
think,
just like
but
it's just like a company games type situation.
basically like corporate companies put together 6 to 8 people to go compete playing like dodgeball, like kickball, volleyball, giant crossword puzzles,
Fucking
obstacle
whale at
course,
kickball.
talk.
Ultimate Frisbee.
There was ultimate frisbee, tug of war, but man, there were people that
Oh, yeah,
stacked
that's
their
terrible.
deck.
Of
That when they
course
heard there was physical activity, they got the biggest, strongest people they could, or just the
Why
biggest
wouldn't
people.
Why
but-
wouldn't you?
But here's the thing.
But that's not fun for like people that are participating. Like, you got thrown in with
Here's-
people that are like of a certain age.
Here was my position.
Why?
I went there to volunteer to help facilitate those games
Yeah.
being played, not to participate in them.
Yeah, but you
Until
got-
one of the companies dropped out, and I had to. They like went around to the volunteers and were like, "Hey, will you do this and compete?" And the other lady who they pulled from the same room as me was like 60 and not
Nice.
meant for any physical activity.
Hell yeah.
And she was like, "Oh
Put
no,
her in the
I,
fucking tug of war. I'll
I-
fucking murder that bitch.
I can't really do it." And I felt bad. I was like, "Oh shit, well, yeah, I guess
Why
I'll
would
do
they
it."
do that to people? Like, oh,
But
we just
then-
need a team.
I was playing tug of war and all this shit against really big fucking people. So
So yeah, dude.
there was a moment when I was playing ultimate.
You want me
Frisbee,
on your tug of war team? I
And
won't pull hard, but I'll
I
anchor
have-
like a motherfucker.
I had the frisbee,
Anchored it just.
and you can't move when you have the frisbee.
Yep.
And I heard the fucking thunderous footsteps of somebody with 150 to 200 pounds on me and like a foot to a foot and a half. And I just gave it to my teammate and was like, "Nope, gone. Like, they have it. I'm
I
done.
am washing my
I
hands
don't-
of this whole situation.
I don't have a competitive bone in my body." So I was like, I'm just
I
here
don't know,
to
dude.
do
You
my
get pretty
best.
competitive with the video games sometimes.
Maybe video games, because that's the
Like
only thing I
fighting
know
games
that I
and
can
shit?
actually do.
Right. It's just a different filter.
But physical stuff, I really don't. I'll have a light-hearted, fun competitiveness to it, but
Yeah.
not a serious like.
I don't
need to
get
be- I
super
need to
serious,
beat
but I
you,
do
and-
like I get into it, but I'm not like that where it's like I have to fucking win.
Yeah, people have that
There was a lot
weird
of that.
blood boiling kind of in them. Like, I need to be good. I need.
I'll
to be
I'll
better.
definitely shoot to be like good and like win, but it's not my like it's not gonna make or break my fucking
No, because you're
situation.
kind of like setting yourself up for disappointment
Yeah.
if you like go in thinking like I'm the
I'm
best.
the
I'm
best.
gonna-
I will win. It's just like fun time. It'd be great if I won.
Why do
but
they call them games if like the definition of a game is kind of meant to have fun and have a fun experience?
There's always a winner.
But there doesn't have to be. There can be like experience from the situation.
What game doesn't have a winner?
Everybody that I was with, because we were all pulled from volunteers, they were all just like, "We're just
It all depends
let's
on
just
what
do
you
our best, guys.
constitute,
Like, we're
as
obviously
winning,
not
though.
gonna win."
Yeah.
In points, yeah, that's one way of winning. But in experience and knowledge, that's another way of winning.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Even in failure, that's another way of winning, because
The winning team can have a bunch of injured players. Is that a
or,
win?
or the winning team
Because
could
they're out the next game.
have learned
Yep.
nothing. They could have just gone through the motions and learned nothing. But the team that failed learned. They went through an XYZ. Were able to name, this is why we failed. This is how we can improve, and this is how we're going to do better.
Mhm.
Like, that's huge.
I have a good thing where
That's
it's
why
like,
everybody should watch the movie Friday Night Lights with Billy Bob Thornton.
yeah.
It's a beautiful
It's beautiful.
message of a film. It's like in my eyes,
You gotta love it, Isos.
You're gonna love it, Billy.
like you should just listen to that speech that he gives. He's like, in my eyes, you guys are perfect. In your hearts, like the closest thing you guys can get to perfection, you've already achieved it. Like it doesn't matter if you play bad, but like as long as you have perfection in your heart, you guys are already winners.
Right.
So that doesn't matter what the outcome is. It's like I care about you guys, and you just go out there and perform.
I learned quickly to like try my best when I'm doing it, but as soon as it like stops,
We'll never take a half measure.
or
when you do
never,
something.
then I'm just like, it's whatever. Like if I'm playing like some ping pong, dude, I'm gonna be like, fuck yeah, getting into that shit.
Yeah.
And then I'll fuck up. I'm like, then instantly it drops. I'm like, man,
It was a fun volley, I guess. Yeah.
that was cool. That was a cool shot. Nicked it off the corner. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
The only time that I really get irked in that type of situation is where you're competing against somebody who, obviously through skill or experience or just physical capability, has much more like ability in that activity to just wreck you, and they're not taking it easy. They are trying to just drive you to the ground. And you're like, man, it's obvious the disparity in like level here. Just like maybe recognize that and try to have some sportsmanship. Don't just
maybe that's
spike
just
it
the
every
level they're
time
used to playing, man.
Point for you. Good. Now that's gonna happen for the next 5 minutes. Happen for the last 5 minutes.
Is this fun for you?
Yeah.
Like,
Is this fun for you?
Yeah.
I'm trying to like, you know, if it's a gym class and you're playing on a team of people and like there's one team that's stacked and your team is just getting pummeled, it's like, is this fun for us? Like I'd just be like, oh no, should we just sit this one out and have them just spike it?
I'll tell you,
because it's like I could not be here and the same thing would be happening.
I tell you, the one thing I took way too seriously, it wasn't super seriously, but I took it pretty serious, was when we'd be doing the fucking like badminton tournaments. Oh, dude, I fucking wailed at badminton, you know? Good, got the good hand-eye coordination, good pops, got the good hits, and more important, I had the good downward. The good spike, boy, just a nice downward rocket shot, and I was just So when we would be doing those, I'd be like, okay, I got this, bitch. Yeah. And it's just like next one, and then I get to a tough one, and I'd be like, son of a bitch, I get sweating a little bit, just like going all out and shit. We'd be fucking.
Could this be doubles?
No, singles, dude.
Singles.
I play support when I play badminton. I'm good at returning it to the field of play and catching that shit and setting it up for my partner. Sean and I were in
doubles are fun.
Doubles more forgiving. Racket sports one year together for summer gym, and we played a lot of badminton every day because there was a certain thing where
there's like 3 rackets.
If you fulfilled your requirements of what you had to do for activities, you could do whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
And me and Sean knocked out what we had to do the first few weeks. So the rest of the time, we just chose to play badminton. And he and I would play together. Then when other people got done, we would play against them. And he and I were always partners. We were playing against each other. It was awesome.
You had good partner communication.
Yeah. We did. He was the, and I was.
Yep.
Sure.
This is an audio medium, but
that was audio Mad Lib. Oh. Insert your own now.
Anything else to say about this film?
It's just
other than the fact that it totally brought back nostalgia of high school.
It totally accomplished one of its purposes of being nostalgic.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we just wax poetic about our fucking shit.
What is it called when you're nostalgic for a time you weren't alive for? Because I feel nostalgia for like the 70s and like that.
That's still nostalgia.
It's kind of like a FOMO.
But do you think there's a?
It's a FOMO nostalgia.
FOMO, dude.
Yeah, fear of
nostalgia.
Fear of missing out on that nostalgia.
Hello, YouTube. I remember it, so you don't have to.
Nostalgia critic, sure.
Yeah. Dazed and Confused is something that is like, just watch it at any time during the summer.
Yeah,
watch it every summer.
Watch it every summer. Have it be like I know it is like a seasonal thing for me. Like every summer, it's like either I have to watch Dazed and Confused at the beginning of the summer or at the end, kind of like cap it off.
I really do think that it's a perfect lakes movie.
Oh sure.
Because typically when you're at the lakes, you're not. Most of the time that you go to the lakes, you're going there for recreation. There's very few times you actually have to go there to like open it up or close it down or do whatever you have to do like that. But most times you're there for recreation. So you've been out in the sun all day. Maybe you've been in the water. You've been just hanging out with your friends and your family and good times. You flip on Dazed and Confused. Let the good times roll, baby.
Yeah.
Dip yourself into another nice little pool of coolness with Matthew McConaughey and
soak up that nostalgia.
Yeah.
And we'll leave it at that. That's a good sentiment to leave it on. Anything else to say, Bracho? Anything to add about it?
No.
Other than watch it?
Yeah. Watch it.
Watch it.
Watch it, man.
And we'll be back with more videos.
We're going to watch more movies. Yes, we will.
More summertime flicks.
Summertime. Time for movies.